magazine called Ditties and Daddies, which just means this and that. This is a Dutch language magazine. Hello, hello, which just means hello everyone. You may remember from a video that I did maybe 12 months ago that I talked about learning Dutch for my trip to the Netherlands, and I did start with YouTube, and then I moved on to Duolingo. Well, I went for the trip in August last year, and I've continued on with my Duolingo learning. I found this magazine and a few others on eBay. A Dutch language magazine. This one's from, I think that's saying March 2018 or March. And I was flicking through it. This one's just got, stories. Ads as well, I suppose. Interesting stories. Oh, there's more ads. Interesting stories about famous people. You've got Anna Nicole Smith, David Beckham, Mel Gibson, and those sort of things. Halle Berry, but it's all written in Dutch. Anyway, I was flicking at the back. So what I should say, I bought this magazine for a chance to learn a bit more on Dutch from a different angle. I have watched different TV shows, but it's hard to pick up some of the words. I was just actually getting ready for this video, so I can just sort of maybe pick up some of the words. It's ook voor klein, which is also for small, I suppose specialty. I suppose, I don't know. Lekker there means, tasty and nice and all those things. Sort of words that I can pick up. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I found this show on streaming called Haka Over the Slip. I think Haka Over the Slip, which means it's a reality show. I was watching a bit of it. It's called, that means Hills in the Hay. kind of like. I think I kind of cool, maybe interesting. So anyway, that's what I've done. So I'm going to put this magazine to one side now and pull out my word search. But before I do that, I'm just going to show you something. That's kind of random, I suppose. This is a little electric hand mixer, yeah, beater, whatever. Anyway, I was just having a look at it today by chance, and down the bottom it says made in Holland. So it's Philips brand. I think kind of something that's sort of slightly on topic, but mainly kind of off topic, I suppose. So anyway, I'll put this to one side, and I'm going off, and I'll get out my word search. Sorry, my Woordzoeker. Okay, so here is my Woordzoeker. I'll get rid of that magazine here. Yeah, I'll move that magazine to one side. And what I'll do now is I'll go in closer. There we go, that's the way to go. So you can see the panel, and these are the words that I have to find. So what I'm going to do, if I can get the cap off this pen. Oh, there we go. Let's go through and find all the words in this Woordzoeker. Okay, so the first word I can see there is Windmolen. So we'll circle that one. W-I-N-D M-O-L-E-N, which just means windmill. Not a windmill. A windmill is called a Windmolen. Okay. Okay, so okay. Now the next word I can see is here. Niemand. Niemand. Niemand, which just means like no one. Right there, no one. And I can see fits. So with niemand, I just sort of like the sound of that word. And then there's iemand, which is anyone, and then there's niemand, which is no one. Fits. Bike. Fits is bike, which is just anything you know about the Netherlands, it's really flat. A lot of people ride bikes, so yeah. I thought that was a good one to use. There's another one that I like the sound of. Stick stuff. Stick stuff. S-T-I-K-S-T-O-F, which just means nitrogen. And well, that might seem random, but nitrogen's a big deal for farmers in the Netherlands. To do with I think there's restrictions maybe on how much nitrogen, if they've got cows or whatever, that they can push out. So also like to call it de boer, veel en vrouw, which just means the farmer wants a wife. I have watched a bit of it, it's not too bad. Okay, so what else have I got? Oh yeah, Ober. Oh, this is interesting actually. Ober. O-B-E-R means waiter. Ober, but if I can find it, oh it is here. The opposite, well sort of, or that's the male Ober, but the female equivalent is not nothing like over, it's server, servister, 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 that's it. S-E-R S-E-R-V-E-E-R-S-T-E-R, which is just means a waitress, so I thought that was interesting. But the two words in English are very similar, but in Dutch they are totally different. Now the next word that I like the sound of is slagger. Slagger. It's one of those words that means butcher. Doesn't really. There's probably no real clues looking at that what it might mean. But I just like the sound of it. Okay, what else have I got? Oh, this is another one that sounds. Well, this is actually a word that actually sounds like. It sounds like what it means, which is clinkin. K-L-I-N-K-E-N, clinkin, which is just another word that means sound. So you can imagine clinking your glasses together and making a sound. That is clink. Vragen, which is V-R-A-G-E-N, Vragen, which just means that means question. To ask or to question something. It's Vragen. Sure, I like that word, but anyway, I do. What else have I got? Oh, it's the word that I like. And down, next one down, Werkgever, which is W-E-R-K-G-E-V-E-R, which is a bit like a word giver, but it actually means like an employer, which I guess an employer is someone that gives you work. This is a Werkgever. And a similar word is boss. B-A-A-S, which just means boss. Boss. Agent Gus. Boss eats cheese. Eats cheese, yeah. Something. I might have got my tests right. Oh, this is one that sort of sounds like it means scrubber. S is this one. Augenblick. Augenblick. O-G-E-N-B-L-I-K. Which actually, it's an eye. Just like an eye blink. But it actually just means that, a brief moment. Where it sort of literally translates to eye blink. It said to me just a brief moment. In an Augenblick. In a second. In an Augenblick. Now. Moi. M-O-O-I. It just means nice. N-I-C-E, nice. And we had an Australian, quite good football player, soccer player, called Aaron Moy. I think he's retired now. Not sure. I don't think he's playing for Australia at the moment. His actually spelling was M-O-O-Y. And when I saw that word on my list, which meant nice, then I realised that boy must have like a Dutch background. And I did actually just look it up, and I think it was his grandfather, who came from the Netherlands to Australia now. Speaking of children, a nice segue into Kinder, which is K-I-N-D-E-R-E-N, which just means children, actually. So I think it's kind. Is that just child? Or maybe it's Kinder. That's a bit of a... Sure about that, but that's Kinder. Kinder is for children. What have I got left? Oh, I've got Svemmen. Svemmen is there. I like the sound of that one. Z.